For our Peter Pan collar, we have two pieces of the collar fabric. Both, these are the wrong side showing up, and I've placed fusible interfacing on the one side, as well as I trimmed the fusible interfacing at 3/8 of an inch, which is the seam allowance for these guys. And just to make things clearer, I've made a little representative sample of the back piece and the two front pieces. So this is what we're going to be working with. So what we've done here is we have stitched along the 3/8, and what we're now going to do is clip along here so that it's easier to fold. So make sure you don't clip your stitches. So now we're back on the wrong side. What you're going to do is fold over all the little flaps that you've now created, and you're just going to press it over. Okay, until you finish the entire collar. So when you are all finished, the edge of the collar will look like this. This is where you've sewn, and these are all the edges that you've clipped and pressed over. You want to sew around the edge of the collar at your 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So what you're going to want to do now that you've sewn along the edge of your collar is you're going to want to make notches and clips in it so we're able to turn it right sides out. Okay. We also want to trim the seams as much as possible. Okay, so once you have flipped it right side out, remember this is all supposed to be pressed under. I know it can be a bit tricky just with all the notches in it. So make sure that's all pressed under. We're going to press it again so you can see how there is the other side of the collar piece showing through because this is folded under. Okay, so we are going to press So all that I've done here is top stitch along the edge of the collar. It just gives it a nice, more finished look. What we're going to do now is we are going to pin right side to right side. You're going to line up your center notches and begin to pin along here, remembering that we are not catching this in the seam, only these two layers are being sewn together. So here it is pinned just with the two layers of fabric pinned together, okay? And then you're going to sew your 3/8 of an inch seam allowance along here, just making sure that this is out of the way as you are sewing. So here is the collar from the back. This is what it looks like on the right side. This is what it looks like on the back of the right side. If you flip it over, what we have to do now, and it's a little complicated because of the curve, is we need to pull, or rather press, all of these seams up towards the collar. Okay, so just take your iron and press all of the seams up into the collar. This is what it should look like when it is all pinned. So you're going to want to make sure that edge where you sewed that original 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and you pressed everything under is directly over top of the seam that you just sewed. When you sew this line right here, if you look on the back, it will be very close to the original line. This is what she looks like when she's all done. So this is from the front, and this is from the back. So you can see we stitch very close to that original line where we attached the collar the first time. So you can't really, you can see over here a little bit, but for the most part it overlaps. I just tried to press it out as best as I could, but there you go. There is your completed Peter Pan collar.